responsible for the transportation of the nutrients, but at the same time, it is actually the red blood cells who are responsible for the transportation of gases, which in our body is in the form of oxygen and carbon dioxide. So our cells use a lot of oxygen in order to convert the nutrients from the food that we eat into usable energy in the form of ATP. So kailangan natin ng oxygen. Otherwise, lahat ng kinakain natin, hindi siya magagamit ng katawan. The oxygen plays a part in the creation or synthesis of energy through the process of cellular respiration. So, kailangan natin ng oxygen. At the same time, as a byproduct, yung katawan natin, when it is creating energy, it also forms carbon dioxide. And this carbon dioxide is actually not needed. It's a waste product. Toxic siya sa ating katawan. So, it has to be removed from the body. So, the circulatory system also helps in the transportation of carbon dioxide to the outside of the body. So, the circulatory system not only works with the digestive system, it also works with the respiratory system, because the respiratory system is the one that is responsible for the intake and outtake of gases in our body. Before we start our discussion, I want you to think about this question of why do we need to breathe? Bakit ba tayo humihinga? Tulog ka man, or nanunood, or kumakain, very important, kailangan mong huminga 24 hours a day. Why do we breathe? Can I ask students from this class to come up with reasons why sa tingin nila importanteng huminga? Let's start with Althea.
Hindi kasi ma'am nakakapag-circulate yung blood natin pag hindi tayo nakakalanghap ng oxygen.
Okay, so somehow when we breathe, it allows our heart to pump blood around the body. Thank you, Althea, for the idea. How about another student? Let's ask, Verna May. Why do you think is the importance of breathing?
Ma'am, para po, huminga tayo para po malabas natin yung carbon dioxide.
Okay, so humihinga tayo to remove the waste in the form of carbon dioxide. Anything else? Any other volunteer from this class? Ano sa tingin nila ang reason why we have to breathe? Na kahit humihinga ka, kahit tulog ka, kailangan mong huminga. Yes, Daniela?
Kasi lahat po ng part ng body natin kailangan po ng oxygen para po mag-function. Kaya kailangan po natin huminga para po makakuha ng oxygen.
Okay, thank you, Daniela. Any other student? Can I call on Mizan?
Para makakuha ng oxygen, sir, tapos makapag-release ng carbon dioxide.
Okay, so it's already a combination of what Daniela and Verna May mentioned earlier, na kailangan may pumasok na oxygen in the body, at the same time, kailangan mailabas yung carbon dioxide. So it's the reason why we breathe. And yes, you are actually correct. So we breathe because we need respiration. And we need to take in oxygen because of the process of cellular respiration. And this cellular respiration, like I mentioned earlier, is the process of creating energy. So yung glucose, it comes from the food that we eat. Pero this glucose will not be converted into energy in the form of ATP kung walang oxygen. So hindi enough na kumakain lang kayo. It has to be working in tandem with the respiratory system to provide sufficient amounts of oxygen para ma-convert siya into energy na gagamitin ng ating katawan. That's why respiration or the process of breathing is very important. So habang continuous na gumagamit yung katawan natin ng energy, dapat continuous din yung supply ng oxygen at continuous din yung supply ng glucose coming from the food that we eat. So even if we are sleeping, your digestive system is continuously digesting to provide glucose, and your respiratory system is continuous in the process of respiration para ma-provide niya yung oxygen at merong enough energy na nagagamit yung ating katawan. Okay? So the primary function of respiratory system is to move oxygen from the outside, the environment, going to the inside of the body, specifically in our lungs, going to the different cells in the different parts of the body. And then pag na-deliver na nila yung oxygen, it's actually the blood that delivers. Kinokollect na din niya yung carbon dioxide, which is a waste product from the cells, dadalhin ng ating red blood cells to the lungs, and then the lungs will remove it as we exhale. So kailangan siyang mailabas to the environment. So this process of providing oxygen and removing carbon dioxide is the primary function of the respiratory system. Okay? And every animal, lahat ng living organism, plants and animals, bacteria, they have different ways of respiration. So even yung mga simplest animals na walang lungs, they are capable of exchanging gas from their body and the environment. And usually, dahil sila ay walang lungs, ang ginagamit nila for the process of respiration is through their skins. So sa balat nila dumadaan yung gas exchange. So may mga butas dyan, very, very small. Ang pwede lang pumasok is carbon dioxide at saka oxygen. And they use the process of diffusion in order to move gases from the environment to their body and from their body to the environment. So usually, mataas ang concentration ng oxygen on the environment, konti yung concentration ng oxygen inside the body. Kasi ginagamit yung oxygen inside the body. On the environment, hindi ginagamit yung oxygen. So may pinagkaiba when it comes to their percent concentration. And the process of diffusion kasi, ang lagi niyang idea is, nagmo-move yung mga substances from an area of high concentration towards an area of low concentration. So kung i-analyze natin yung concentration ng oxygen, mas marami sa environment kasi hindi naman siya ginagamit ng plants. Pinoproduce lang ng plants yung oxygen. So ibig sabihin, on the environment, hindi siya nababawasan, nadadagdagan siya ng nadadagdagan. Kaya very high yung kanyang concentration, percent concentration on the environment. Whereas, inside the body of a flatworm or a jellyfish or any other organism, ginagamit yung oxygen. So, ibig sabihin, hindi dumadami yung percent concentration ng oxygen inside the body. Lagi siyang pakonti ng pakonti kasi continuously siyang ginagamit. So, ano ang movement ng oxygen? Lagi siyang mag-move from the environment going to inside the body kasi mas konti yung percent concentration inside the body. So even through the process of diffusion, nagkakaroon ng gas exchange through the skin of different simple living organisms. So kahit na wala silang lungs, capable pa rin sila of the process of respiration. Tapos ganun din sa carbon dioxide. Sa loob ng katawan, dumadami siya ng dumadami. Kasi the more that the body creates energy, the more carbon dioxide is produced as a waste product. Eh hindi naman siya ginagamit ng katawan natin. So continuously increasing yung level of carbon dioxide inside our body. Sa labas naman on the environment, pakonti ng pakonti yung carbon dioxide kasi ginagamit siya ng plants. So nababawasan ng nababawasan. So ano ngayon ang movement ng carbon dioxide? From the inside of the body, it will be moving to the environment. Kasi ang higher concentration niya is inside the body, ang lower concentration niya is outside in the environment. So ang movement niya is from the inside going to the environment. So even very simple animals na walang very developed na respiratory system, wala silang lungs, they still do what we call as gas exchange. And usually, itong mga animals na to, or itong mga living organisms na to, they are aquatic animals. So mas madali ang respiration in aquatic environments kasi meron ng oxygen doon agad sa water. You have to remember, water, di ba? It's a compound made of 2 hydrogen ions and 1 oxygen. So, sa water pa lang, pag nag-pass through na doon sa skin nila, they are capable of removing the oxygen from the water. Pero these animals, dahil medyo simple yung kanilang respiratory system, mababa ang kanilang metabolic rate. Ibig sabihin, mababa yung energy na ginagamit ng kanilang katawan. So sila yung usually slow moving. So dahil mababa yung energy na ginagamit ng kanilang katawan, okay lang kahit hindi ganun karami yung oxygen na makuha nila from the environment. Kasi nga, konti lang naman yung kailangan nilang maiproduce na energy. Which is hindi pwede sa mga complex organisms such as humans. So kailangan ng humans mag-develop ng mas efficient na system that will allow it to really get a lot of oxygen from the environment and really remove all of the carbon dioxide. Kasi kailangan niya ng mas maraming energy dahil mas mataas ang kanyang metabolic rate. Do we have any questions so far? Naintindihan ba? Or nag-move ba ang aking presentation slides? Or may mga na-experience na problem with the first how many slides? Pataas na lang ng kamay. Okay pa po ba tayo? Okay. Nag-move ba ang aking slide or naka-stuck ba siya sa isang slide? May naka-experience ba ng ganon? Pataas ulit ng kamay. Okay, so mukhang okay naman tayo. Nag-move naman ang aking presentation. So now let's continue with the discussion. Okay? So meron din namang mga, sabi ko nga, mga living organisms na mas mataas na ang kanilang metabolic rate. And dahil mas mataas na ang kanilang metabolic rate, ibig sabihin, mas marami na yung ginagamit nilang energy. So kailangan na nilang mag-develop ng structures ng mas efficient na system which will allow them to do gas exchange ng mas mabilisan. Okay? So some of these animals are, for example, itong ating fishes, alam naman natin yan, fishes have these gills or itong mga hasang which is more effective than the skin in getting oxygen coming from the water. Kaya kung mapapansin niyo, mas mabibilis ang movement ng fish, may mas malalaki fish na nagde-develop, it's because meron silang gills that allows them to get more oxygen from the water, which allows their body to create more energy. At pag mas maraming energy, ibig sabihin, mas marami siyang activities na pwedeng gawin, mas marami siyang energy na pwedeng gamitin for growth and development. So mas complex na yung kanilang mga structures. The same when it comes to our terrestrial insects, wala pa silang lungs na katulad ng humans, pero meron na silang tinatawag na spiracles. So para rin siyang ganun sa gills, commonly nakikita ko siya sa mga ipis. So para siyang patong-patong na gills na allows them to get oxygen coming from the air. And then of course, we have the lungs. Ito yung lungs ng most of terrestrial vertebrates such as humans, your cats, your dogs, they already have developed lungs. So ang pinaka-simple organ that is used for respiration is always the skin. And then after the skin, mas mataas yung level ng gills. After the gills, mas mataas yung level ng spiracles. And then yung pinaka-complex at pinaka-effective in gas exchange is what we call as your lungs. Okay? Or sa Tagalog, ito yung baga. Okay? So this is the human respiratory system. Of course, the intake of oxygen begins sa nose. Although kung mapapansin ninyo, the nose and the mouth is actually connected to the same tube. Which is the reason why kapag kayo ay may sipon at barado ang inyong ilong, pwede kayong huminga sa bibig. Kasi even if the gas enters here through the mouth, it can still enter the trachea. Okay? So, dalawa yung tube dyan sa inyong neck. Meron tayong esophagus, itong manipis sa likod. At saka meron tayong trachea or trache na nandito sa harap. If you will remember from last week, esophagus is actually part of the digestive system which connects the mouth going to the stomach. So, itong esophagus na to nasa likod. Ang purpose niya is a pathway for the food sa pagkain. Yung gas exchange coming from the nose or even coming from the mouth, it has to go not in the esophagus but here in the trachea. So itong trachea na to, ito yung mas malaking structure sa harap ng esophagus. Ang tinatransport niya or ito yung pathway para sa hangin. So kung mapapansin ninyo, may isang harang lang dito which is the epiglottis, which separates the food and the water or the liquids that we are drinking doon sa hangin na pumapasok sa atin. Kaya kung minsan, pag hindi nagfa-function ng maayos yung epiglottis, kayo ay nabubulunan. Ibig sabihin, hindi nakasara itong esophagus, so nung lumunok kayo, yung pagkain pumasok dito sa trachea. Pag pumasok siya sa trachea, yun yung na-experience nyo na nabubulunan kayo. So usually, ang ginagawa ng katawan doon, kailangan mo siyang ilabas either through the mouth or i-regurgitate mo siya to the nose. Kaya yung iba nabubulunan, lumalabas yung kanin sa ilong. Kasi nga, medyo connected itong dalawang tubes na ito. Okay? And hindi dapat makapasok yung pagkain into your lungs. So gagawin lahat ng trachea, lahat ng pwede niyang gawin, kahit lumabas pa sa ilong mo yung kanin na yan, kailangang mailabas niya. Kasi hindi siya pwedeng pumasok sa lungs. It's very deadly if food particles or even water enters your lungs. So kailangan niyang regurgitate or kailangan niyang ilabas ulit. Okay? So I'm sure lahat naman tayo nakaranas na ng nabilaukan. Usually pagka tumatawa, may pagkain tapos tumatawa, hindi naka-open yung esophagus. Unfortunately, napalunok ka. So pumasok siya dun sa maling tube. Okay? So after the nose and after the mouth, kasi sabi ko nga, the mouth can be used as an entryway for oxygen. So pag nakapasok na sa loob ng katawan itong oxygen, it will now travel along the trachea. Okay? So this is the trachea. After the trachea, the oxygen will go to the bronchi. Yung bronchi ay itong nasa taas. This bronchi will is separated into two. Meron na tayong right bronchi at saka merong left bronchi. So the bronchi is directly connected into the lungs. So meron tayong left lung at saka meron tayong right lung. So each lung will be connected to a bronchi. So yung bronchi ay medyo mas malaki pa, pero mas liliit siya into smaller branches which is called as the bronchioles. Okay? And then at the end of the bronchioles, later on ipapakita ko, meron tayong tinatawag na alveoli. And it is here in the alveoli that the actual gas exchange happens. Kasi itong alveoli na to ay nakakonect na doon sa capillaries. You have to remember last week sa capillaries when we talked about circulatory system. Sila yung mas maliliit na versions ng arteries and veins. So yung mas maliit na version ng artery, sila yung nangunguha ng oxygen. Tapos yung mas maliliit na version ng veins, sila naman yung nagdadala ng carbon dioxide. So the actual exchange or yung mismong palitan ng gases happens in the alveoli. And then of course we have a very important muscle here that we call as the diaphragm, which also helps in the process of respiration. So let's talk about it in detail. Okay? So sabi nga natin, ang primary purpose of respiratory system is for the movement of oxygen in and for the movement of carbon dioxide out. Okay, so what happens when you inspire or inhalation? You are moving oxygen in. So during inspiration or inhalation, this piece of muscle, which is called as the diaphragm, it will move downwards. And when the diaphragm moves downwards, mas pinapalaki niya yung surface area inside our body. So pagka mas lumaki yung surface area, ibig sabihin mas maraming lugar kung saan pwedeng pumunta yung oxygen. So the diaphragm, it will contract downward, which will allow the rib cage more space para makapag-expand sila. Okay? So bumaba yung diaphragm, so mas marami silang space doon, nag-expand yung rib cage. So pag may expansion yung rib cage, ibig sabihin pwedeng lumaki, mag-expand din ng inyong lungs. At pag nag-expand yung inyong lungs, ibig sabihin mas maraming lugar or possible surface area kung saan pwedeng pumasok yung oxygen. So ngayon, papasok na yung oxygen, makakakuha na yung katawan mo ng enough supply of oxygen kasi marami yung papasok dahil maraming lugar na ino-offer itong iyong lungs. Okay? But during exhalation, or what we call as expiration, okay, ang gagawin ng diaphragm mo, it will move up. So pag nag-move siya pataas, mas lumiliit yung space in your abdominal cavity or in your upper torso. So pag lumiit yung space, no choice yung lungs, kailangan niyang lumiit. So liliit din yung ating rib cage, and then pag lumiit yan, di ba parang lobo, pag piniga mo yung lobo, anong mangyayari doon sa hangin sa loob? Yung hangin ay lalabas kasi di ba piniga mo yung lobo, wala nang space inside of the rubber balloon. So, kailangan lumabas ng ibang hangin. So, yun yung lumalabas yung ating carbon dioxide. So, very important itong diaphragm in regulating the amount of oxygen na kayang ipasok ng katawan natin at yung amount ng carbon dioxide na kayang ilabas ng katawan natin. So, kapag mag-move siya downwards, mas maraming space, mas maraming oxygen yung papasok. Pag nag-move na siya upwards, then, konti na lang yung space ng lungs, no choice siya, kailangan niyang ilabas yung carbon dioxide. So, very important itong diaphragm. For people na mga singers, yung mga professional singers, part of their exercise is to really regulate their diaphragm. Kailangan nilang i-control yung diaphragm nila kasi mas mahaba at mas mataas yung tono na kaya nilang i-maintain kapag mas controlled yung kanilang diaphragm. So, di ba usually pag before yung mataas na tono, yung mga singers parang humihinga ng malalim. So, mas maraming oxygen, ibig sabihin, mas masusustain nila ng mas mahaba yung tone na yon. So, usually pagka mga bridge, yung mga part na matataas talaga, mas nakakaya nilang abutin yung note ng mas mahabang panahon. Okay? So this is what we call as the alveoli. If you will remember, di ba, the trachea is one tube. Tapos, it becomes the bronchiole. The bronchiole will divide into two. And then this bronchiole inside of the lungs, mas nagdi-divide pa siya into more branches. Mas marami siyang division. And this is your bronchiole. And the bronchiole will end with what we call as the alveoli. So yung alveoli na yan, ito yung mga bilog-bilog na yan. This is the alveoli. At nakaikot dyan sa mga bilog-bilog na yan, itong tinatawag nating capillaries. So this is the capillary network. Automatic, di ba? Yung kulay blue, ito yung mga nangunguha ng oxygen sa alveoli. Ito namang kulay red na to, ito yung mga nagdadala ng carbon dioxide sa alveoli. So pagka dating nitong kulay red na to, ibibigay niya yung carbon dioxide. So si alveoli, papalitan niya ng oxygen yung dalang carbon dioxide. So the actual gas exchange or yung palitan ng kontrabando, nangyayari siya dito sa tinatawag nating alveoli. Ito yung dulo ng mga bronchiole. Bilog-bilog siya na nakakabit doon yung capillaries. And you have to remember that this alveoli is slightly oily. May sarili silang tinatawag nilang surfactant or pampadulas. So yung pampadulas na yon, very important yon para hindi magdikit-dikit or hindi mag-collapse yung lungs. Kasi pag nag-collapse yung lungs at nagdikit-dikit na siya, hindi mo na siya mai-inflate. So, hindi na makakapasok yung hangin. For those of you who were lucky enough to experience na mag-dissect ng frogs when they were in junior high school, baka meron kayong teacher na nagpagawa nun. Tapos makikita niyo unang-una yung heart ng frog, tapos meron siyang lungs dun sa gilid. Yung lungs niya yung parang bula na kulay puti na lumalaki tapos magko-contract. Lalaki siya tapos magko-contract. Tapos yung ibang student, meron kasi akong kaklase dati, tinusok niya ng stick, nagdikit-dikit yung lungs niya, hindi na nag-inflate. So yun yung dahilan kung ba't namatay yung frog kasi hindi na siya makahinga ng maayos. So our lungs, bawal siyang mapasukan ng tubig. Kasi pag nagkaroon na ng tubig sa loob ng lungs, ito yung isa sa mga naaapektuhan niya. Naaalis yung oily surfactants in the alveoli. So ang nangyayari, mas prone sa pagko-collapse yung lungs. At pag nagdikit-dikit na yung lungs na yan, yun yung ibig sabihin ng collapse. Nagdikit-dikit na siya, parang na siyang lobo na na-deflate. Hindi mo na siya pwedeng i-inflate pa ulit. So pag nag-collapse na yon, wala nang papasok na hangin doon. Mahihirapan na siyang maghiwa-hiwalay pa. Okay? So itong alveoli na to ang nagpo-provide nitong tinatawag nating surfactants o yung pampadulas para kahit sila ay magkakadikit, hindi sila, kumaga, they don't really rub against each other, hindi sila mag-collapse. Okay? So far, okay pa ba tayo? Thumbs up sign naman kung may mga nakikinig pa. Sorry, mali yung thumbs up sign. Raise your hand kung nakikinig pa. Ayan, thank you very much. Let's continue. Sabihan nyo lang ako pag hindi mag-move yung slide ko, ha? So this is what actually happens in the gas exchange. So sabi ko nga sa inyo, the circulatory system does not just work with the digestive system. It also works with the respiratory system to have this idea of gas exchange. At kanina, yung gas exchange natin doon sa skin ng mga simpler animals, na-point out natin doon yung idea of diffusion. And in very complex animals such as humans, diffusion also happens. So yung idea kasi ng diffusion, di ba, if you will remember, it always moves from an area of higher concentration going to an area of lower concentration. So if we will apply that in our lungs, nasaan ang higher concentration of oxygen? It's actually here in the alveoli. Ang konting oxygen dito sa arteries. Wala na kasi talaga siyang dalang oxygen. So ang movement niya is from the alveoli going to the arteries. Bakit nasa alveoli yung madaming oxygen? Kasi when you inhale, ang travel ng oxygen is from the nose, going to the trachea, going to the bronchiole, and then going to the alveoli. So nasa kanya yung pinakadulo ng travel ng oxygen. So ang movement niya is from the alveoli going to the arteries. So pag napunta na yung oxygen dito sa arteries na to, the blood here in these arteries will go back to the heart, and then the heart will pump it to the different parts of the body. So iikot lang siya dito, and then the left atrium will now distribute along the arteries to the different parts of the cell. Ngayon naman, yung deoxygenated blood, wala siyang dalang oxygen. Ang dala niya ay carbon dioxide. So dito sa mga vessels na to, mataas yung concentration ng carbon dioxide. Pagdating sa alveoli, wala siyang carbon dioxide kasi when we inhale, we are only taking in oxygen. Hindi tayo nag-i-inhale ng carbon dioxide. So mas mataas yung concentration ng carbon dioxide in the vessels, wala sa alveoli. So ang transfer ng carbon dioxide is from the vessels going to the alveoli. So ngayon, naalis na yung oxygen sa alveoli, ang meron na siyang gas na hawak ay itong carbon dioxide. So from the alveoli, the carbon dioxide will go to the bronchioles. From the bronchioles, it will go to the trachea. From the trachea, it will go out from the nose going to the environment. So yun yung gas exchange na nangyayari in the alveoli. And both the circulatory system and the respiratory system works together for this to happen. So hindi enough na makapasok lang yung oxygen sa katawan natin. Kailangan siyang ma-deliver into the different cells. At yung delivery naman is responsibility of the circulatory system. Tapos, kailangan din makolekta nitong circulatory system yung mga carbon dioxide. At hindi enough na maibigay ng circulatory system yung carbon dioxide doon sa alveoli. Kailangan ng respiratory system na mailabas yung carbon dioxide na ibinigay sa kanila. Okay? So, this is what an alveoli looks like. Kanina, di ba, sabi natin, bilog-bilog siya. So, inside, dito sa bilog na to, meron siyang space dito which allows the gases to enter. So, sabi natin, may surfactants yan. Ibig sabihin, may mga oil dyan. Itong kulay blue na linya na to, paikot. Yan yung surfactant or oil para hindi mag-collapse yung alveoli. So yung bilog na yon, it will remain na circular, hindi siya magdidikit na ganon. Kasi pag nagdikit na siya, ibig sabihin, wala nang papasukan na space itong gases ng oxygen. So mahihirapan ng huminga. So papasok itong oxygen, okay, and then the oxygen will be transferred to the red blood cells, which will now deliver it to the different parts of the body. At the same time, the carbon dioxide from the cell, dala-dala nila, it will diffuse dito sa area na to ng alveoli, and then it will be removed by the respiratory system. So merong maliliit na space inside the alveoli where the actual gas exchange happen. And itong gas exchange na to is made responsible by the process of diffusion. So lagi nating tatandaan ang diffusion mula sa madami papunta doon sa konti. Higher concentration to lower concentration. Okay? So let's continue. Again, may surfactant dito, itong kulay blue na to, which prevents the alveoli from collapsing, which allows the lungs to be effective in gas exchange. Okay? So, medyo mas detailed lang ito, pero ito pa rin yung sa alveoli. So, let's skip this. Okay? And again, ang important na part ng red blood cell which allows them to transport oxygen is itong protein that we call as hemoglobin. So, this hemoglobin meron siyang 4 na binding site at each oxygen molecule will go to this binding site. So each red blood cell is able to transport 4 oxygens at the same time. So 4 yung kaya niyang dalhin na oxygen to the different cells of our body. Ganon ka-efficient itong protein na hemoglobin which is found in our red blood cell. And the reason why your red blood cells are colored red is because of this protein hemoglobin. Okay? And then the hemoglobin can carry 4 molecules of oxygen, pero it can also carry 2 molecules of carbon dioxide. So pagpabalik, medyo hindi na siya ganun ka-efficient. 2 na lang ang kaya niyang dalhin. Mas mabigat kasi ang carbon dioxide kesa sa oxygen. You have to remember that. Dito sa representation, mas maliliit yung oxygen. Kasi syempre, oxygen is just 2 molecules of the oxygen. Pero pag carbon dioxide, other than the 2 oxygen, meron pa siyang carbon na kasama. At medyo mabigat yung carbon na yon. So, dahil mabigat yung carbon, 2 lang yung kayang i-carry or dalhin ng hemoglobin. So, itong hemoglobin na to, pag nabigay niya na yung oxygen doon sa cells, kukuha siya ng 2 molecules of carbon dioxide at yun ay dadalhin niya sa alveoli para yung alveoli kukunin yung carbon dioxide para mailabas. So, bakit nga ba kailangan nating bawasan yung carbon dioxide in our body? Pag mataas kasi ang carbon dioxide, mas tumataas yung tinatawag na bicarbonate ions. At pag tumaas yung bicarbonate ions, ibig sabihin mas nagiging acidic yung ating katawan. So this is the bicarbonate ions, which is responsible for the increasing acidity in our body. So para ma-prevent na maging acidic ang ating katawan, kailangan bawasan yung carbon dioxide. Okay? So, like I said, hindi siya ginagamit ng katawan. It is a waste byproduct. So, kailangan siyang mailabas. Okay? And then, syempre, pagdating ng oxygen sa cells, gagamitin na nung cells itong oxygen na to through the process of cellular respiration in creating energy in the form of ATP. So now let's go to the application. So ano naman ang pwede nating maging real life application ng respiratory system? So syempre, part of it is yung diseases that is common when it comes to the respiratory system, and then how are we going to prevent it? So ito, isa sa common na diseases or disorders in the respiratory system is an after effect of smoking habits. Okay? So, smoking cigarettes. Okay? So, ang nangyayari kasi, when you inhale cigarette smoke, hindi lang oxygen yung pumapasok sa katawan mo. May pumapasok din na carbon dioxide. So, isa na yun sa mga negative part. Hindi kailangang pumasok ng carbon dioxide sa katawan. Kailangan nga siyang ilabas. Pero dahil na-inhale mo yung smoke na yon, ibig sabihin yung carbon dioxide na yon, pumasok na naman doon sa loob ng katawan mo. So medyo mas hindi na efficient yung respiratory system the more you start smoking. Kasi mas tumataas yung carbon dioxide inside the body. At the same time, may mga chemicals kasi that is included in these cigarettes, such as itong nicotine. And this nicotine is the reason why yung mga smokers, usually they have yellowish teeth, yung paninilaw ng ngipin, kasi nagsistain siya sa ngipin. At the same time, ang nangyayari doon is pinapatay niya yung cells, specifically the cilia, that cleans the lungs. So pag napatay na yung cilia, doon na nahihirapang huminga. Pero usually, these kinds of disorders are observed doon sa mga tao na maagang nag-smoke at the same time, yung mga, ano yung tawag nila dun sa heavy smoker talaga, yung in one day nakakaubos ng more than 1 pack of cigarettes. So the more frequent you are smoking, the more, the higher yung risk or chances of you developing these kinds of diseases. So the first disease that we are going to talk about is what we call as the emphysema. Okay? So emphysema kasi is more of nagiging dry and brittle na yung alveoli or yung lungs. And kapag ka nagiging dry and brittle na siya, ibig sabihin natatanggal yung natural surfactants in the alveoli. So mas prone siya into collapsing. So mas nahihirapang huminga yung taong may emphysema compared doon sa taong walang emphysema. And unfortunately, emphysema develops for not just the smokers or yung active smokers. Mataas din yung chance of developing emphysema for second-hand smoking o yung tinatawag nating passive smokers. Pag second-hand smoking kasi, hindi ikaw yung wala sa'yo yung habit of cigarette smoking, pero dahil yung taong nakapaligid sa'yo are smokers. So, ibig sabihin, nakakalanghap ka rin ng mga toxins at saka nung carbon dioxide, additional carbon dioxide from cigarette smoke. So, ibig sabihin, nadadamage din yung iyong lungs. So, if you are a smoker, ayun lang, it's your choice. It's a lifestyle choice. So, if that is your choice to start smoking, okay lang naman. Anyway, katawan mo yan. Pero, you have to be, I think, you have to be considerate of the people around you. If they are not smokers, then do not expose them to the additional risk of developing this, itong mga disorders na to. Kaya nga, one of the regulations na maganda sana, pero hindi na ipatupad ng maayos, is yung pagbaban ng smoking in public areas. So kung napapansin nyo sa Philippines, nung simula lang siya na-implement ng maayos. Pero as time goes by, wala na rin pakialam yung tao kung saan-saan na rin siya nagsusmoke. So kung naging maganda sana yung implementation ng rule na yon, okay sana siya. Kasi ang point lang naman ng regulation na yon is not to stop people from smoking, but to lower down the risk of exposure doon sa mga taong hindi naman nagsusmoke. Kaya pinagbabawal yung smoking in public areas. Kumbaga meron lang designated areas where you can smoke. So yung mga taong smokers, kayo yung magsama-sama doon. So kayo yung sama-samang ma-expose doon sa risk. Yung mga taong hindi smoker, hindi sila na-expose doon sa additional risk na yon. So hindi naging maganda yung implementation. So for me, hindi siya naging effective. Pero kung sana mas nagiging vigilant yung ating local government and national government in implementing the regulation, okay sana siya. Okay? And then of course, we have this cystic fibrosis. Unfortunately, cystic fibrosis is a genetic disorder. So hindi siya dahil sa nagsusmoke ka. Unfortunately lang, nandoon siya sa genes mo at namana mo siya. And this anong tawag dito? Cystic fibrosis, ito yung nagkakaroon na ng tubig sa baga. So, nahihirapan na siyang huminga. Okay? So, ayan. Huwag na yan. So, these are patients of cystic fibrosis. Yun nga, unfortunately, namamana siya. So, it's more of, hindi mo siya choice, hindi siya lifestyle choice, pero more of, ano siya, accidental lang talaga na minana mo siya. Okay? And ito yung isa sa mga ideas that when people quit smoking, it depends on how long na sila nag-smoke, yung magiging effect niya. The longer na nakapag-smoke ka, mas matagal before ma-clean eventually yung lungs mo at mas more yung possible damage na nagawa na sa katawan mo. So may mga tao kasi na they started smoking very early Tapos they quit smoking very late. So when we say very late, ibig sabihin, marami ng damage doon sa kanilang lungs. Maaaring paralyzed na or no longer working yung kanilang cilia. So kahit tumigil pa silang mag-smoke, hindi na mababalik sa dati yung kanilang lungs. Pero meron namang mga, anong tawag dito? Meron namang mga tao na they started smoking and fortunately for them, walang masyadong damage yung nangyari sa kanilang lungs. So when they stopped smoking, kumbaga reversible pa yung effect doon sa kanilang katawan. Okay, so it depends on the case. Ang magiging suggestion ko lang is if you don't have or hindi pa nade-develop yung habit of smoking sa inyo, wag niyo nang i-try or wag niyo nang simulan. Marami ng pollution in our air, so wag nyo nang dagdagan. Okay? So, para at least mas may-ensure kayo na walang damage yung lungs nyo, mas may-ensure kayo na mas proper or efficient siya when it comes to its roles and functions in our body. Yes po, Kuya John Paul. Is that John Paul or Ivan? Sino yung nagtaas ng kamay? John Paul.
Ma'am, hindi po ako
Okay, sige. Baka na-raise lang. Okay, so one of the most common questions sa akin ng mga students is, effective ba daw? Kasi may mga tao na nagki-claim na mas effective daw na instead of smoking, you will use yung vape. And I'm sure mas popular in your generation yung tinatawag na vape kasi syempre hindi siya, alam mo yung wala siya yung mga common na mabahong smoke katulad sa smoking. Diba? May mga flavors yung mga vape na yan eh. My answer is this, wala pang proven na talagang experiment or hindi pa enough yung evidence na nagagather to prove na mas healthier option ang ang vape. At the same time, wala pa rin enough evidence that will suggest na masama din yung vape. So very new pa siya, so very little pa yung alam natin when it comes to vape. But my stand when it comes to vape is this, hindi kasi siya natural na dapat pumapasok sa loob ng katawan mo. So even if, sabi nila water lang yon na nag-evaporate, anong tawag dito, tas flavored lang siya, so okay lang. You have to remember that water is not allowed inside our lungs. Hindi siya, as much as possible, hindi siya dapat pumasok sa loob ng lungs kasi medyo deadly din siya pag nagkaroon ng water inside the lungs. Diba? So kahit nasabihin mong water lang yun na nag-evaporate, it's still water. So as of right now, we don't know a lot about it, pero we don't know if after 10 years na